became a Christian last year in August, and every time I share this story, I just go straight into the Jesus part because he's the best part. But there's a lot of the part of the story that I didn't actually share with like church or with people because I was ashamed of it. It's actually, when I think about it, I don't like the fact that God sees me and he still loves me, even though I was a really bad person. I grew up in an abusive household. I didn't know I was gonna cry. And I just wanted to be loved. And for so long, I tried looking for that in everything I could find. I would go on the computer and I would watch pornography at a really young age. And I tried so hard to be pretty for boys, but they would just use me. And I still fear men, but it's getting better. And I miss my mom, but she never loved me. And one time I was fighting my dad, and he was throwing hands, because they do that sometimes. But I don't know where he went, but for those hours that he was gone, me and my mom hugged, and there was peace for like 5 minutes, and then it was not there anymore. So for a really long time in my life, I had been trying to numb myself. There were no drugs. All I could do was try anything else, which was not fun to do sober. But, yeah. I moved around a lot and I just felt hopeless. I had a home, but I felt homeless. I went back and forth between school and home, and I felt like there was nowhere to be at peace, at rest, and I couldn't really get any kind of satisfaction. And I wanted to drop out of school, I wanted to die, but I couldn't, and it never worked. And I was always thinking after I tried, I was like, why isn't this working? I literally tried so hard and it wouldn't work. And I would think to myself now, that was definitely God, because that was very weird. It was weird. Yeah, but the weirder thing is, one time I got really annoyed with my family because they were being really annoying, more annoying than normal, because I was like, I'm not going to talk to these people anymore, and I stopped talking to them. And my mom got really annoying. She was like, come on, Faiza, open the door. Stop hiding. And I was like, you're being really weird. Leave me alone. And she wouldn't leave me alone. So I did the best thing I could think of. I took my dresser and I used it as a lock because I didn't have a lock on my door. And I wasn't going to use the bathroom because people need to use the bathroom. So yeah. But I didn't leave my room for 3 days, except when I needed to pee real bad, which was at 3 a.m. And my mom called the cops, and the cops were nice. And I was in my PJs, and they took me to the hospital, because where else are you going to take me? But it was weird, because, I don't know, they probably thought I was on drugs, but I was completely sober. And I stayed overnight in a building on campus. And I didn't go home, and my dad called me, and I hung up on him because why would I do that? And I didn't go home, and there were more cops, and they took me someplace nice. And for the first time in my whole life, I felt peace. This is the kind of peace I didn't know existed. And I stayed at a hotel room, and it was really pretty. It was nice. And there was a guy, he was playing the guitar outside my window. and it was so sweet. And after that, my sister's friend, who was very skeptical about, but she was a Christian, and she contacted me and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm okay," even though I wasn't. And she let me stay with her for a while, and she introduced me to Jesus, and she introduced me to the church, and I felt all sorts of weird Jesus stuff. It was crazy, but now I'm more than saved. I do miss my family. It does hurt. It is hard. But for some reason, I'm still breathing, and I still feel God, even when sometimes I don't feel Him at all. So, huzzah. Thank you.